Motherfucker! Hello, and welcome to the Motherfucker channel. I am Motherfucker. I shall have no other motherfuckers before me. Today, Obama gave a speech about Ferguson, the ongoing bullshit there. And I'm here to give the bullshit breakdown, what this guy said. I'm a one-man show, so bear with me here. Let's see what he's got to say.
As I said last week, in the wake of the grand jury decision, I think Ferguson laid bare a problem that is not unique to St. Louis or that area, and is not unique to our time, and that is a simmering distrust that exists between too many police departments and too many communities of color.
Simmering distrust. You mean guys get arrested and fucked up for being black on a Friday night, or brown, or not white. Now, like I said in my other post, you know, minorities are not infallible. The majority isn't always right. I really hate it when the liberals pick a side and stick to it no matter what. Okay? But simmering distrust, that's a nice one.
The sense that in a country where one of our basic principles, perhaps the most important principle, is equality under the law.
Equality under the law. If everybody had enough money for a good attorney. Fucking OJ went free and Martha Stewart did time. Who had a better attorney? Okay, equality under the law when you've got enough money for a good attorney.
That too many individuals, particularly young people of color, do not feel as if they are being treated fairly.
Young people of color. Nice.
And as I said last week, when any part of the American family does not feel like it is being treated fairly, that's a problem for all of us. It's not just a problem for some. It's not just a problem for a particular community or a particular demographic. It means that we are not as strong as a country as we can be. And when applied to the criminal justice system, it means we're not as effective in fighting crime as we could be.
Because you're wasting too much motherfucking time on drug crimes. 58% of the incarcerated public is there for drug possession. You know why they can't make drugs legal? Decriminalized? Because then half of the cops, half of the judges, half of the attorneys, half of the bailiffs, half of the fucking correction officers would be out of work at the same load, or maybe they could concentrate on real crimes, property, violent crimes, go after the Wall Street motherfuckers. No.
And as a consequence, what I've been able to do today, thanks to excellent work by Eric Holder, our Attorney General, who had to fly down to Atlanta to start a conversation down there around these issues, as well as the outstanding leaders around this table.
Heckuvajob Holder. Yeah, he had a flight down to Atlanta to start a conversation.
Is to begin a process.
Begin a
in which we're able to surface an honest conversation.
They're going to begin the process of selecting a committee to decide whether or not there's sufficient evidence to grant an investigation on whether or not we can start looking into on what the fuck is going on.
From law enforcement, community activists, academics, elected officials, the faith community.
Faith community. Leaders in the religious community.
Try to determine what the problems are.
Motherfuckers getting killed.
And most importantly, try to come up with concrete solutions that can move the ball forward.
Move the ball forward. We got the NFL crowd's attention. Hey, they mentioned the ball, sports fans.
One of the most powerful things that happened today was I had the opportunity to meet with some young people, including a couple of young, outstanding leaders from the Ferguson community, Brittany Packnett and Rasheem Aldrich.
Gotta shut up!
Who both served on the Ferguson committee, live in the area, and I think have been hearing from a lot of young people in that area.
And did not steal anything last night.
And what made me concerned was the degree to which they feel as if they are not heard. The reality of what they experienced has been denied. What made me greatly encouraged was how clear their voices were when they were heard, and how constructive they are in wanting to solve these problems. They
are articulated. They have good articulation. They are well spoken. Fucking raise the bar.
And I think anybody who had a chance to listen to them here today felt the same way. We also heard from law enforcement and were reminded.
Anybody disagree with me?
What a tough job it is to be in law enforcement.
That's a no-shitter. Law enforcement is a tough job. You don't know who the fuck you're coming up on when you pull somebody over. So I'm here to tell you, if you want to go home and sleep in your bed tonight, when Officer Friendly pulls you over, comply, be nice, give him documentation, and guess what? You will probably go home if you're not a fucking asshole. If you don't punch a cop and try to take his gun, you probably won't get shot.
Whether you're in a big city or in a small community, as Eric Holder put it, police officers have the right to come out.
Cops are people too. Motherfucker took my phrase and just rephrased it. Cops are people too. That's true.
And if they're in dangerous circumstances,
they're gonna shoot your ass.
You know, we have to be able to put ourselves in their shoes and recognize that they do have a tough job. I don't think those
and they got a gun.
Always irreconcilable.
And the right to use it.
In fact, I'm convinced that if we work hard, that we can make sure that police officers and the communities they serve are partners in battling crime, partners in making sure everybody feels safe, that we can build confidence and we can build trust, but it's not going to happen overnight.
I don't know when the fuck this is going to come to an end. This ain't going to happen overnight either.
And it's not going to result just from a conversation around the table in Washington. It's got to result in concrete steps that we are able to lift up in communities all around the country and institutionalize.
Is it Christmas yet?
In order to advance that goal, here are a couple of specific steps that we're taking.
Fuck it!
I want to thank Chuck Ramsey, the commissioner of the Philadelphia Police Department.
Heck of a job, Ramsey.
Roy Robinson, who is professor of criminology, law and society at George Mason University, and a former assistant attorney general. They are going to co-chair a task force that is not only going to reach out and listen to law enforcement, community activists, other stakeholders, but is going to report to me specifically in 90 days with
90 days they're going to report to him what the problem is. They need 3 months to figure out that cops are shooting people by mistake sometimes. I'm not saying cops are bad. They're, I would say, in my extensive experience, maybe 3%. Okay, that's altogether too much. You know, there are people too. They have stressful experiences, and remember, they don't know who you are. Okay, 90 days for them to get back to him with a report on what the problem is. 3 fucking months.
Concrete recommendations.
Concrete again. It's the third time he said concrete. Fuck.
Including best practices for communities where law enforcement and neighborhoods are working well together.
I guarantee they have all the best practices already in the books.
How do they create accountability? How do they create transparency? How do they create trust? And how can we at the federal level work with state and local communities to make sure that some of those best practices get institutionalized?
Make sure anybody who fucks up is going to get prosecuted locally, state, federal, fucked and fucked and fucked.
So this is not going to be an endless report that ends up collecting dust on a shelf. My expectation is concrete recommendations.
Concrete, fourth time.
That we can begin to operationalize both at the federal, state, and local levels.
Operationalize. Did he just misunderestimate the power of a fucking dictionary?
And the good news is that we've got two folks who are respected by activists and respected by law enforcement. And I'm confident they're going to do an outstanding job. I want them to help us make sure that crime continues to go down while community trust in the police goes up. Second, one of the issues that came up during the response to Ferguson back in August was the issue of military equipment being utilized in the face of protests that may be taking place in the community.
Cops got fucking military equipment. They're breaking doors down SWAT teams, and they got tanks at the fucking Army Navy surplus store, and they're getting it pretty cheap. Call me paranoid, but I think shit is so bad right now that these guys read a little history and realized the French Revolution, when the people rose up and slayed the leaders, that if Louis and Marie maybe had some SWAT gear and military equipment in the local police, Louis and Marie might have lived a long, peaceful life and kept the revolution down. So, call me paranoid, but if the cops can control all the riots, we're going to continue to get fucked in the ass.
A broader issue as to whether we are militarizing domestic law enforcement.
You think?
Necessarily. And is the federal government facilitating that? I have now received a review that I ordered from all the agencies involved in this program, the 1033 program. I will be signing an executive order that specifies
the right's going to lose their fucking mind.
How we are going to make sure that that program is accountable, how we're going to make sure that that program is transparent, and how we're going to make sure that we're not building a militarized culture inside our local law enforcement. Third, I'm going to be proposing some new community policing initiatives that will significantly expand funding and training for local law enforcement, including up to 50,000 additional body-worn cameras.
50,000 cameras. People been putting fucking cat videos on YouTube for the last 10 fucking years, and now is when they're going to put cameras on cops. 50,000. Last I heard, there were 750,000 police officers in North America. 750,000. He's authorizing 50,000.
Law enforcement agencies. And I look forward to working with Congress to make sure that, in addition to what I can do administratively and with resources that we've already got, that we are in a conversation with law enforcement that wants to do the right thing to make sure that they're adequately resourced for the training and the technology that can enhance.
A few more tanks, a few more cameras. A few less tanks, a few more cameras.
Between communities and police. And finally, as I mentioned, Heckuvajob Holder is going to be working in parallel with the task force to convene a series of these meetings all across the country, because this is not a problem simply of Ferguson, Missouri. This is
Missouri. He's appealing to the heartland where this happened. Missouri. Satisfy the white folks.
A problem that is national. It is a solvable problem, but it is one that unfortunately spikes after one event and then fades into the background until something else happens.
Wait, are you talking about Ferguson? Are you talking about fucking gun laws? Are you talking about immigration? Are you talking about... What are you talking about that spikes, people pay attention, then goes away? That happens with everything, yo.
What we need is a sustained conversation in which in each region of the country people are talking about this honestly and then can move forward in a constructive fashion.
Move forward in a constructive fashion.
Let me just close by saying this. There was a cautionary note I think from everybody here that there have been commissions before, there have been task forces, there have been conversations.
Same shit, different day. We've heard it all before. What the fuck is different?
And nothing happens.
Imagine that.
What I try to describe to people
what
is...
What the fuck is all the pictures? Nobody's moving.
This time will be different.
10 pictures ain't enough.
Part of the reason this time will be different is because the President of the United States is deeply invested in making sure that this time is different.
He's talking about himself in the third person.
When I hear the young people around this table talk about their experiences,
I'm gonna fucking puke.
It violates my belief in what America can be. To hear young people feeling marginalized and distrustful even after they've done everything right.
Bullshit! Punching a cop and trying to take his gun ain't doing everything right. Okay? Lying in wait for somebody who's a fucking community watch, okay, jumping out and mugging a motherfucker will get you shot. Punching a cop and trying to take his gun will get you fucking shot. Okay? Walking away from a cop with your hands in your waistband when he tells you to freeze, your hands underneath and hidden, can get you shot. Okay? Do this. Do this. Nobody who does this when the cops arrive gets fucking killed. Maybe. I may be wrong. Chances are a lot fucking lower. Don't give me this do everything right bullshit.
That's not who we are. And I don't think that's who the overwhelming majority of Americans want us to be. And I think there may be a convergence here where we've got outstanding law enforcement officials who recognize that times have changed and want to be responsive. I know that Richard Berry of the International Association of Chiefs of Police spoke about how eager International Association of Chiefs of Police spoke about how eager they are to work with us. I think that we've got activists on the ground who don't always get attention because it's oftentimes people who aren't being constructive to get attention, but there are folks there who are working really hard. I think there's a maturity to the conversation right now that can lead us to actually getting some concrete results.
A conversation to get us concrete results. 5 times he said concrete. You selling concrete or what, motherfucker?
And in the 2 years I have remaining as president, I'm going to make sure that we follow through.
Really?
Not to solve every problem, not to tear down every barrier of mistrust that may exist, but to make things better. And that's how progress is always made in this great country of ours. All right? Thank you very much, everybody.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Get to stepping.
Appreciate you.
Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thank you.